without further ado, I want to go ahead and just introduce the next speaker, who is Connor Hebel, is a best-selling author, an international speaker, and a teen entrepreneur. I repeat, a teen entrepreneur who launches Microgreens business at age 14. And after overcoming major health challenges, Connor now inspires others to grow their own health and success one tray at a time. Connor is the author of Let's Get Growing and the upcoming The 4% Edge, and has spoken alongside leaders like Sharon Lechter and Marie Diamond. Connor dedicates his time and resources to philanthropic causes, including the Coalition for the Homeless and the U.S. Pain Foundation, exemplifying his commitment to giving back and creating meaningful change. So please help me welcome our special treat guest speaker for you. We have Connor Hebel. It's all yours.
Thank you, Raj. That was such an amazing introduction. It's always awesome being on the call with you all. Thank you, Bill, for having me on. This is just such an amazing community. So be sure to text UWC to 26786 so that we can see you in person. So as entrepreneurs, we're all obsessed with scaling, right? Bigger launches, more leads, more revenue, more reach. But what if I told you the most scalable thing in your life isn't your business, it's your habits? See, I learned that massive growth doesn't come from doing more. It comes from going deeper into the small things that multiply. And the lesson that taught me this didn't come from a marketing book. It came from a tray of microgreens. We say health is wealth, but what does that really mean? It can mean having more energy to get to the next level in your business, or a strong immune system to help in the stressful times. For everyone, it's a little different. Imagine walking into your kitchen and seeing life literally growing before your eyes, a tray of tiny greens bursting with color and energy. Hi, I'm Connor Hebel, and by the end of this talk, you'll see how the smallest habit can unlock the biggest shift in health, focus, and impact. I will go over the 3 must-known facts about microgreens and entrepreneurship. So is it all right if I share with you my story? Excellent. You know, my whole life has been a lesson in contrast between limitation and possibility. From a very young age, my body gave me the feedback that most people never experience. When I was 7, I reached a point where even wearing clothes was painful, something most people don't even think about. It felt like fire on my skin. I couldn't go to school anymore, and school had been my favorite place, the space where I got to learn, to connect, to be a kid. Suddenly, all that freedom was gone. My childhood was gone. And around me, I kept hearing words like cancer, MS, Charcot-Marie-Tooth, words that carry weight, words that make people's faces tighten. Those moments change the way you see yourself. My parents, thank goodness, didn't stop searching. They decided to look beyond the traditional medicine, and that decision changed the trajectory of my life. We found a holistic doctor who believed something radical at the time. What if food could be medicine? So we began to change everything that I put into my body. I went on a strict gut repair diet, and that's when we started growing microgreens. These tiny plants, they look so simple, yet there was something powerful about them. Each tray became a small act of hope, a living symbol in what healing was possible. Within just 8 months, my inflammation, which doctors said was higher than most adults experience in their entire life, dropped dramatically. I could move again. I could think clearly. I could feel life returning to me. So, what are microgreens? Microgreens are tiny baby vegetables that are grown in just 7 days. And the reason why they're so powerful is that they're up to 40 times more nutrient dense than your mature veggies, depending upon the species and conditions. There have been many studies that go more in depth on the benefits. such as a 2012 USDA University of Maryland study that talks about 25 microgreen varieties, and that many microgreens contain significantly higher levels of vitamins and carotenoids than their mature plant equivalents. And in 2023, a review in PubMed notes that microgreens are rich in flavonoid and glucosinate compounds, with laboratory and animal data showing anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and metabolic benefits. And according to a 2024 MDPI review, depending upon the species, microgreens may deliver anywhere from 2% to over 300% daily nutrient needs. So think of for vitamin E. And modest serving sizes, which shows how much variation there is. So within the time that I'm talking with you today about all the benefits of microgreens, we could have already planted your microgreens. To see how easy it is, text microgreens to 26786. That's microgreens to 26786. And as a bonus, when you text that number, you'll get a microgreen masterclass using my 14 years of microgreen growing experience. That's valued at $250. That's microgreens to 26786. So before I dive even more into how I got my business started, let's talk more about those benefits that I just mentioned. Because I listed them off kind of quickly. That is so powerful. When you have something that is up to 300% of your daily nutrient needs, that's just a tiny serving of microgreens, like think of a handful, like 1 ounce of microgreens. That is so powerful. You see, microgreens are clean, they're pesticide free, and you're in control of how they're grown. So what's amazing about that is when you think of traditional vegetables, they're usually harvested weeks, maybe months before you even get them in the store. And who knows what's been sprayed on them. There are lots of studies that have shown that your typical produce has, there's about 75% of your produce that has pesticide residue on there. And that's not good for us. When you think about it, that's really unsettling. And then you look at vegetables that have all sorts of coatings on them to keep them fresh and live. When you have microgreens, they're completely pesticide free, they're clean, and they're more nutrient dense. Dr. Berg talked about a phytonutrient within microgreens called sulforaphane, and you can find it throughout different brassica vegetables. And what sulforaphane has been researched to do is reduce the level of inflammation and aid in cancer prevention. What's powerful about microgreens is that there was 10 to 100 times more sulforaphane than your mature vegetables. So when you eat something that's this small, that makes that big of an impact, it allows you to get to the next level in your life, in your business, and allows you to have that energy and freedom to do what you want to do and to get where you want to get. So fast forward to COVID, I was feeling better, and I saw that the world was not. The world stopped. Supply chains broke. Fear skyrocketed. Toilet paper shortages happened. And I watched the store shelves empty out. I realized something powerful. While the world was panicking about scarcity, I had abundance growing right on my countertop. And that's when it clicked. I had something that everyone needed to know about. Freedom doesn't come from what you own. It comes from what you can create. And as entrepreneurs, we see that all the time. It's not about what's outside of us. It's about what's in our mind and what's in our body. And so at 14 years old, I built a company around that principle, teaching people to grow their own food in 7 days. Super simple. And it allows you to take back that control and become more resilient, one tray at a time. That's when I started a health journey that turned into Amelia Island Microgreens, and later Island Microgreens, which is a movement empowering people to grow health anywhere. And that's what entrepreneurs do. We turn our personal transformation into scalable impact. So if you want to see the success that microgreens can have in your life, go to AmeliaIslandMicrogreens.com. That's AmeliaIslandMicrogreens.com. And you can get your own kit for under $55. So let's bring this full circle. As entrepreneurs, we spend so much time building our businesses, systems, funnels, products. But at the end of the day, the greatest system you'll ever build is your own body. And here's the truth. If you want your business to grow faster, your energy has to grow first. Because what you bring into your business is a reflection of what you bring into your body. And when you start feeding yourself living food, you start running a living business. You stop just working hard and start creating from vitality. Think about it. We talk about fueling our businesses, but how often do we think about fueling what's inside of us? You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't grow from a dead seed. But when you grow microgreens, you're literally building the habit of growth. Every day you water them, you train your mind to nurture potential. Every time you see those seeds push up through the soil, you're anchoring the belief that progress is happening, even when it's invisible. And that's why success really is small, consistent growth that compounds over time. When I was sick, I thought my body was broken. Now I understand it wasn't broken. It was brilliant. It was giving me the feedback I needed to be able to take care of myself. And you can see this in business too. When one element doesn't work, there's something going on that's deeper. And when you see that, you're able to adjust and course correct. Our bodies are the same way. So we should treat it like that. It says so the question is, are you listening to your body? Are you listening to your business? Because when you start listening, you start growing. You become the kind of person who doesn't wait for opportunity. You cultivate it. So imagine this. 1 week from now, you walk into your kitchen. There's a tray sitting by the window. Tiny green leaves reaching for light. You clip a handful, toss them on your lunch, and you take that first bite. You feel that spark, the same spark I felt when I was 7, that sense of life, energy, and control. You realize it's not just about growing food, it's about growing you. Imagine all the opportunities that come from being able to have that energy and that relaxation of knowing that what you're putting into your body is making a difference. You're creating abundance in real time. You're turning nourishment into a daily success ritual. And every day you see that tray, you're reminded that small habits scale everything. And I want to make that habit as easy as possible for you to start. Within the time we spent together today, you could have already planted your microgreens. So text microgreens to 26786 right now, and you'll instantly get access to my microgreen masterclass. And that'll show you how to grow your microgreens right here, right now. And what's really cool about this is the other day I was creating a video on outwitting the devil and microgreens and how they coincide. And if any of you have ever read Outwitting the Devil, you'll know that it's not a devil with horns and a pitchfork. It's the positive to the negative. You can think of it like the ions, the positive ions and the negative ions. And what the devil does, according to Napoleon Hill, is it wants you to drift. It wants you to go through life without an aim, without a purpose, and just kind of be numb to the world. And one of the best ways that the devil does this is through our food. Because if you're not feeling good, if you're spaced out because you're eating stuff that doesn't align with your body, then you're not going to have the energy and the drive and the focus that you need. And so it's really cool to see how much Outwitting the Devil aligns with this, because when you take care of your body, you're taking care of yourself, which then ripples out into the environment. And so it's so cool to see how much change happens from within. There have been a lot of studies that have talked about entrepreneurs who exercise. There's a majority of entrepreneurs who are super successful tend to exercise at least once a day. And at first you might be like, huh, that's a little interesting. But the thing is, success leaves clues. And there's a reason why people do that. It's because they have that energy, they feel more clear, and they're moving forward. Health is wealth. And when you start to see that out into the world, you start to see what happens. And so, with all of this knowledge, the 14 years that I've condensed into my microgreen masterclass, the step-by-step system that makes it simple for you to grow your health, focus, and impact in your own kitchen, It makes such a huge difference because everything starts within. And so I want you to notice what's already growing inside you. The part of you that wants more energy, more impact, more alignment. It's already there. And maybe all it needs is a little light, a little water, and a small daily action that says, I'm committed to my growth. Entrepreneurs, your business will only rise to the level that you do. So let's rise, let's grow, and let's build a world where health and entrepreneurship grow hand in hand. So I have about 5 more minutes, and I just want to open this up. If anyone has any questions about microgreens, I love to make it interactive and I love to talk with all of you. But before we do that, I just want to remind you, text UWC to 26786. It is worth it, and I am so excited to see you there in person. So does anyone have any questions on microgreens?